How's it going? This is next. So what do we got? What do we got? What do we got? Front tine tiller from MTD. That's what it is. 21A 241 E700, that thing with that motor on it. So picked this up on Facebook Marketplace for $25. It seemed like it had compression, although the recoil doesn't want to go back into the holder for whatever reason. That's all I did so far, messing with it. This part was pulled in there, so the lever didn't work. The clutch wouldn't work. Maybe that's all that's wrong with it. I pulled out the oil, the dipstick has oil in it to the correct amount, so that's something. Haven't checked for spark, haven't done anything else. I did look up, there's the other information, so you can read it. I couldn't hardly. There's the carb it had, and from a previous project, a manufacturer supplier reached out and said, hey, if you've got any other equipment you're fixing, we'd like to send you a carburetor if you'll do a video of, putting it on there. So rather than, I'll probably try to clean that carburetor and just see if it runs, keep it as a spare. But it's a lot easier. I mean, I think this is under $10. I'll leave a link in the description. Whatever it is, it's very reasonably priced. I've used these before. They work just fine. I don't understand why the ones from Briggs & Stratton that are not made here either are listed as $70 or $80 just because it has the words Briggs & Stratton on it, or Tecumseh, or whoever. But this is the replacement for the carb number that I just showed you. So that's what we're going to do. So the good people at HiPa set me up with this. We're going to stick it on here and see what we get. This is the same company, by the way, that they didn't send me this. I bought this. This is before I was doing YouTube videos, I think, or whatever. But anyway, let me get it open here. Not for this particular mower, but for, two-cycle everything. Chainsaws, string trimmers, whatever, that have all these specialty screws. Can you see that one? All different shapes on the tips. Anyway, I use this all the time. So pretty much whatever carburetor there is on a smaller engine like that needs to be adjusted and tuned, that's what I remember this company for. But they sell and make lots of carburetor replacements for all kinds of lawn equipment and more stuff than that. So anyways, let's get to going. You know the drill. Check it for compression, and then spark, then you got to get fuel in it. Boop boop. So you saw it here, but giving it the rest of the old walk around. Well, right from the get-go, told you about that. I don't know if that's the right way to fix it, but it does seem like when you pull the lever now, it seems like it's doing what it's supposed to. When you pull the lever, it engages the clutch, which allows the tines to spin. So it feels like the spring tension is correct now, that it's going to do its job. I got to get the recoil starter to actually retract. Looks like just a couple nuts take the recoil starter off to investigate that. It looks like somebody put a drywall anchor screw in here to hold the handle on, and well, it kind of worked, but we'll fix that. It's missing the tube, slower on down tube. I hate those things. I've taken them off other tillers, but my plan is to fix this and sell it. So I'll find something around here. I probably have square tubing that I can make a piece to accommodate that piece. But I think we'll have a working machine here in short order. I think I did look through the owner's manual. I know I did. I found it online, printed it out. Anywho, supposedly there's a belt that goes from the engine shaft to the tiller mechanism. I don't want to mess with it, but I'm sure I'm going to have to. So there's 4 bolts, looks like you pull out from underneath, lift the engine off, and then in there's the belt mechanism. We're going to have to look at that and see if the belt's garbage. So the tiller itself, $25 from Facebook Marketplace. I already spent think it was another 25 because I didn't need it, but it didn't have this. So these two pieces are used, but it came with a new air filter and gasket and the screws and that gasket, all for another 25. So right now I'm into the tiller for $50. So this is not a money-making project. I'm sure it's going to end up not being, but you know, I like to give content, keep this stuff going, and do a how it will it work, will it start. So I'm going to take, I looked, none of these are frozen. I'm going to take the tines off so that I can start it and not, you know, have it bouncing around the floor type thing. For starting purposes, I'm going to take those off. So that's the story. Compression, spark, fuel. Let's get figuring. All right, back on the task at hand. I'm not going to do what I said. Number one, clutch is supposed to prevent these from spinning when you start the motor, so I'm not going to take the tines off to start with. I can't start it without the recoil part functioning, so that's going to happen first. Can't even pull it. Let's do that very first. Then let's pull the plug and check for spark and also check for compression. Then we'll start messing with everything else. Pretty sure these little fellas on the top are all that there is. It helps to make noise when things are difficult. Gets them unstuck. Is that it? Just the two? Oh yeah. Okay. Now let's just scooch that back out of the way. Drop you down here to some reasonable spot. Looky. Now why does this not want to retract? Well, you know how many times I did that when it was up on the machine and it wouldn't retract? All it was apparently doubled up. It still wants to double up and not go in, but it seems like it's good. Yeah, that's weird. I mean, it feels all right, flexible, not worn, but man, it doesn't want to. Somebody maybe replace this with paracord or something. When it's this way, it doesn't like to go in there. Well, just what do we do in these cases? Let's do the right thing and just bury it in lube. Perfect. Problem solved. Probably not. Now it'll just collect a whole pile of dirt in there and get gummed up. I win. Oops, there went the cap somewhere. Yeah, look at that. It just keeps doing it. It doubles up and then it can't get in. How annoying. Fooled it some more. Great. Now it's time to herniate myself and get this thing off the workbench so I can pull on it. Let's get the plug pulled out up here. It's all glossy and putrid looking. Well, go test it. Okay, you watch for spark. Did you see it? We're gonna give it the old spark plug clean. Cleaned up the old plug. If you want to see how to make this spark plug checker, it's in my other videos. Oh yeah. Okay, you guys watch the gauge. Is this thing gonna shoot out from under my hand probably? Wow, Jesus Murphy. Well, you dogged me. Okay. Guys, I don't know what it is, just got a lock. Ow, you just. I'm gonna get a freaking spinal injury. I can't pull it. Not like that. You gotta get out of the way. Hold on. Okay, that was unpleasant. I don't know what the real number is, but it jerks out of my hand, so it's like all of a sudden compression, but I don't know what that means. Anyway, the highest I got it was about there, but I suspect if I could actually pull it correctly, yeah, it's probably 100. I think that's plenty. Well, okay. You know the deal. Compression, spark, fuel. Next up is fuel. As I mentioned previously, what we're going to do is not even try to clean that one. Just take it off and put on the new one from the folks at HiPa. I don't know how you say that, but anyway, this is what we're going to put on there. And then we'll give it a rip. I should have taken the fuel system off and cleaned it, but I didn't, so it probably sucked schmutz into there from whatever garbage was in the tank. There wasn't very much. I did look, but it's disgusting. The plug was wet after I cleaned it. No, what am I trying to say? No, not the plug. The compression tester tool was wet, so I gave it a squirt of lube in there just because who knows how long it's been since this ran. If I'm going to be pulling on it, testing for compression, just give it a little something in there to lube the rings and cylinder. But anywho, let's get this carb off, the new one on. In the process, we'll flush the tank out to make sure we're not sucking up any grossness and check the integrity of these lines and whatnot, and be ready to try starting it. Okay, these bolts are going to remove this little plate, and I think we're going to have to take those bolts off, of which this is in the way of, so it's going to be a little bit of a fight. Let's see, what does this do? Is that part of that lever? No. What is its purpose in life? Okay, that's the kill wire. Okay, that's fine. Wrong size socket for that. Of course it is. Just. You know, you can actually, I haven't done it, but if you've got shipping figured out, if you're a do-it-yourselfer, you want to make a few bucks, if you've got shipping figured out to where you do enough of it, you get discounted rate and, you know, through the postal service or what have you, they give you free shipping boxes and whatnot. What am I trying to say? You get old mowers like this, and even if they're broken, I mean, when people like me go to fix something, like the entire tiller, and you find this is all you've got, you need an air cleaner, and most of the time I want an air cover, you know, preferably what came with the engine. So you can part out a machine like that. Say it blew up, right? I threw a rod out the side of the block. You can still probably sell 3 or 4 or 5 of those pieces on eBay or Etsy, or I don't even know all the online places, Marketplace, whatever. but you can probably easily make more than you would have got for the machine working if you sold it by parting it out. So just saying, that's a good way to, if you got the time and you already have shipping set up to do, it's a good way to make a few bucks. Anywho, back at the task. Let me get the right size socket. Okay, that back bolt was marginally unpleasant to get, but it's on there. Just gotta tighten it up. The trick is just take the muffler off and you'll be able to get at it. Muffler's only 2 bolts. Okay, so now what? Well, the gasket that I saw in here looked perfectly fine, so I did not put the brand new gasket on. Saved that in my stash for something else. The little O-ring gasket that came with this used eBay cover looked fine, so that's the one I used. So I just saved the whole old carburetor mechanism, clean it up and play with it. If I need it later, I'll just put it in my stash and label it as unknown condition. All right, so I think all I gotta do is get some fuel in the fuel tank, give it a shake. This one's got a pretty good design to where it just clips on and off the steel shroud. I think that's it. Let me flush the tank, get this thing on the ground, get the plug back in it, and I guess it's time to go out and pull on the ripcord and see what happens. Assuming that that goes okay, then I'll get this thing cleaned up a little better and see what to do with it. Well, there's nothing left to do except try to send it. Fuel tank has been flushed. Oh boy. Oh yeah, spilled at least half. Check. All right. Hopefully it works as I suspect, that if it does start, the clutch is disengaged until you pull this lever. I like this janky handle too, it's nice. The drywall screws, but it'll be fine. Hey! Why is that dripping? Is that just spills? Yeah, I think that's just me spilling. Okay. Oh, forgot to prime it. I need to take my earphones off for that so I can hear if I hear any sounds. Matter of fact, let's see if we can see gas come out in a little bit of tube so we know it's up here. Know what I mean? Because the whole line was dry. Oh, yeah, it's coming out. All right. Okie doke. Going for broke. Get on there. Get on there. Okay. Earphones engaged. Oh God. It tries to rip it right out of your hand, which is nice. That's especially nice. Wow, just. That's terrible. I mean, I think it's by design. I don't think there's anything wrong. But I can't be hunched over way behind it with you over there and start it. Something's going to have to change here. Give it one more. See what happens. Oh, God. That's just terrible. I mean, it's so much compression at the end of there that, God dang, it's really hard on your hand. Let me think about this. Trying. Well, just semi-winter chicken dinner. Except not all the way, because it seemed to me that was revving way too high. I'm gonna have to look at the governor settings here and see, because that doesn't seem right. But hey, it runs. Let's see what I can do. Okie doke. I must have caught part of the linkage or something was bound up. I just reached in there with my finger on the governor arm and spring where it connects to the carb, and I must have just, caught one little edge of it someplace where it was caught. 'Cause as soon as I pushed lightly, I felt it like click and give loose. Now everything's fine. And I started it. I'll show you. Now it does what it's supposed to. Oops, it doesn't rip it out of your arm. It's weird. So up then the governor kind of catches. I was able to free it up just by pressing on the linkage rods. It's not up on the exterior part though. It's in the motor. Then it popped loose. I started it and everything run, and I just tried to start it and I couldn't. Now I'm going to try it again. Now I can't account for what I'm seeing. Run position. And then, it's like it lost spark. What's going on? Forgot to prime it. After I primed it, started. Now it's at the right RPM. I'm not even gonna bother tearing that open and seeing if the belt works, because it ain't broke. I'm not gonna worry about it. If it does break in the field, then that's okay. P.S. just for the record, this one's gonna go to my father, who wants to start a little garden. So when I say if it breaks, that's okay, that's because I'll be there to help him fix it. And we'll replace it then. But until then, let's just see if it actually works for him. All right, thanks for watching. Well, let's see what the shmoo looks like, shall we? I'm just gonna run off where I want. Is it? You gonna do it? Kinda. Kinda. Boy, this is a bugger to do one-handed, I can tell you. There. .1% of it's going where it's supposed to. Doesn't look too bad. It seems awful thin though. Who knows? It's what was in the machine. The threads on this didn't look like they'd ever been bungered, so this might be the original. Just don't know. I'm gonna just go with the assumption that I think since everything runs, seems to run good. New carb. Put fresh oil in it. I know I cleaned the plug and the plug looked good. I would imagine this will be just fine and it will do the job we want it to do. Is that the end of it? Well, I found some in reserve, I guess. Probably the joke's on me in that if I read the manual, I'd find out the oil change is underneath somewhere, unbeknownst to me. Anyway, all right, you're in the way of me tipping it more, so